Imagine working 18-hour days for 6 years straight, performing for millions, touring the world, and becoming a global star, only to never receive a single paycheck. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on K-pop's darkest secret, the financial trap that turns dreams into nightmares, and why even the most successful idols aren't immune. Everglow recently celebrated their 6th anniversary since debuting, and Yiren shared a series of heartbreaking messages on Bubble, revealing something truly disturbing. Despite being an idol for 6 years since the group's debut in 2019, she claims she has never received a single paycheck. In her messages, Yiren wrote, "I love the stage very much, but in a sense I have zero income, but I don't want to give up this career. In reality, we haven't settled yet, not once. So the tour is really what we want to show our fans, and we are working hard to prepare. But I'm sorry that there are no new songs and performances to show everyone." Fans were shocked, with one questioning how there had been no progress in the members getting paid. The heartbreak in these words is palpable. You can feel her passion for performing, battling with the harsh reality of her financial situation. What gets me the most is how she apologizes to fans as if any of this is her fault. This is particularly shocking because Everglow has had considerable success since their debut. Their music videos have garnered millions of views, with hits like Adios surpassing 100 million views on YouTube. They've conducted international tours, including performances in the United States and Europe. Let's try to understand why this is happening. Under normal circumstances, this level of success should have generated enough revenue for the company to pay its artists after recouping initial investments. The standard practice in K-pop is for idols to receive payment after they've paid off their trainee debt, the accumulated costs of training, housing, and debut preparations. But for a group that's been active for 6 years with multiple successful releases and tours, the complete absence of payment raises serious red flags about Yuhua Entertainment's business practices. I honestly feel sick thinking about how Yiren left her home country to chase her dreams, only to be taken advantage of like this. In K-pop, companies typically operate on a debt-based system that begins long before debut. When trainees sign with a company, they're basically taking out a loan. Every dance class, vocal lesson, and acting workshop gets added to what they owe. By the time they debut, many idols already have years of built-up training costs that they must pay back before seeing a single penny of profit. What makes this system especially problematic is how hidden everything is. Unlike Western music industries where artists generally have more say in how money is spent, K-pop idols often have no clue about how money is being spent on their behalf. They rarely get a clear picture of how much debt they're piling up or how spending decisions are made. Once a group debuts, the debt cycle keeps going with each comeback. The company pays upfront for album production, marketing, staff wages, music show performances, tours, and then bills all of it back to the group. If a comeback doesn't make enough money to cover costs, that debt gets added to the next release, creating an endless cycle that's almost impossible to break free from. This is exactly what's happened with Everglow, leaving members unpaid despite years of hard work. It's important to understand that trainee debt is just one type of financial burden idols carry. Some agencies might not charge for training but will still load groups with comeback expenses. These costs can be huge, from fancy music video productions to promotional activities and everything in between. Daily living expenses add another layer of debt. Housing, food, transportation, and even clothing can be charged back to the artists. In particularly shady situations, some companies have been known to deliberately increase expenses when groups are close to breaking even, making sure they stay in debt. The practice of charging idols for their own housing and food while they work 18-hour days is nothing short of exploitation. In any other job, this would immediately be called out as worker abuse, yet it's normalized in K-pop because these young artists are sold on the dream of someday making it big. Even things fans might think are positive can become financial burdens. For example, as Momoland's Daisy revealed, when companies take legal action to protect their artists from online hate or defamation, those legal fees are often charged entirely to the idols, even if they never asked for such protection. This exact issue was at the heart of Luna's fight with BlackBerry Creative. The production costs charged to each member were so over the top that they stayed constantly in debt despite making good money. The contract was set up so that no matter how successful they became, the financial deck was stacked against them. On December 19th, Dispatch published a detailed investigation into the conflict, revealing specific contract terms that were fundamentally unfair. According to their report, in December 2017, Chu and BlackBerry signed a contract splitting her entertainment earnings 70/30, with the company taking the larger share. While it's common for agencies to take the majority of earnings, what made Luna's situation quite problematic was how expenses were handled. According to Dispatch's investigation, since 2016, the Luna members collectively earned approximately $14,275,000, yet each member, excluding Chu, still owed an estimated debt of $153,500. This means that despite making millions in revenue, the members actually owed money to the company instead of receiving payment for their work. Chu's situation was different because of her numerous individual activities, including commercials and variety show appearances. These personal gigs finally allowed her to start receiving payments beginning in December 2021, adding up to around $169,000. Recognizing how unfair her contract was, Chu took legal action in January 2022, filing for a court order to suspend her exclusive contract. The court ruled in Chu's favor, allowing her to continue her activities independently while only sharing profits from group activities with the agency. She successfully renegotiated her contract, flipping the profit-sharing ratio from 70/30 to 30/70 in her favor. She also secured crucial rights, the ability to say no to certain group activities and the right to quit at any time, terms that ultimately led the company to kick her out of the group entirely. But that's not all with Luna. Fan chats have revealed even more disturbing details about Luna's treatment under BBC. Members were reportedly forbidden from leaving their dorms, with CCTV cameras installed at the entrance to monitor their every move. The absurdity of the situation is beyond comprehension. Imagine not being able to leave your own living space whenever you want. That's why Hyunjin and Chu became desperate, trying to devise any plan to escape. Frustrated by the constant surveillance and repeated failures, Hyunjin eventually reached her breaking point. In a final act of defiance, she grabbed a pair of scissors and cut the CCTV wire. I don't know, is it even legal to prevent idols from going outside? Yeojin claimed that she hasn't been paid since the group's debut, echoing Yiren's situation. Reports indicate that BBC starved WIXY members during photo shoots and severely overworked the entire group throughout their Luna the World tour, causing half the members to miss the Mexico City concert due to exhaustion and health issues. While the term contracts has been addressed in Korean entertainment law, the reality is still deeply troubling. Some groups have it even worse than zero payment. Consider reports that Momoland members allegedly had to pay about $60,000 each to join the group, basically paying for the privilege of working for free. The power imbalance is especially obvious in larger groups. With so many members, individual voices have less influence over business decisions. The case of Omega X reveals how unfair practices in K-pop extend beyond financial manipulation into severe mistreatment. The group's leader Jaehyun explained their heartbreaking predicament. The only reason why we had put up with the alleged violence is because of the fear that we would lose our last chance. It was a second chance for all of us, and we didn't want to waste our time. Their former CEO, identified only by her surname Kang, allegedly subjected them to regular verbal and physical mistreatment, pressured them into drinking after practices with threats of no next album if they refused, sexual harassment including inappropriate touching and comments, and persistently harassed them through calls and texts even outside work hours. The psychological impact was devastating. Hang Gi-eom and Jaehyun both disclosed they were receiving psychiatric care, with Jaehyun adding, "All the members are so unstable that we flinch even when we hear a high-toned female voice." The situation became public when a fan witnessed Kang's violent behavior in a Los Angeles parking lot during their tour. When the allegations surfaced, instead of protecting the artists, the agency reportedly canceled their plane tickets home, forcing them to rely on their parents to purchase new ones. After the controversy erupted, the members received not apologies but threats. According to Jung-hoon, she brought up the issue of mandatory military duties and reimbursements of financial debt. The agency demanded approximately $227,000 per member to terminate their contracts, a classic intimidation tactic. Fortunately, on March 27, 2024, there was finally justice. The Korean Commercial Arbitration Board officially terminated Omega X's contract with Spire Entertainment and ordered the agency to pay compensation to the group. The members have since signed with IPQ Entertainment. The mistreatment revealed in these cases aren't isolated incidents, but reflect systemic problems within the K-pop industry. By raising awareness, supporting ethical companies, and standing with artists who speak out, we can play a crucial role in pushing for better conditions and more transparent business practices. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you in the next video.